Welcome back. We've spent the last two sessions considering the not so favorable subject of our sinfulness. Jesus taught his disciples to pray, stating, "In this manner, therefore pray, Our Father in heaven, hallowed be your name. Your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors." Yesterday we considered the spiritual Oreo of 1 John 8, or 1 John chapter 1, verses 8 to 10. Sin, forgiveness, sin. I'd like to finish the thought that we ended with yesterday regarding sin being an abomination to God by looking at a couple of verses from Proverbs and then applying them to our lives. Proverbs chapter 6, verses 16 to 19 states, "These 6 things Yahweh hates. Yes, 7 are an abomination to him: a proud look, a lying tongue, hands that shed innocent blood, a heart that devises wickedness or wicked plans, feet that are swift in running to evil, a false witness who speaks lies, and finally, one who sows discord among his brethren." These 7 things are abominations to Yahweh. Proverbs 11, verse 1 states, "Dishonest scales are an abomination to Yahweh, but a just weight is his delight." Anytime we use a different scale toward our friends, and so we treat something this way in this situation, and then we treat it like this in this situation, dishonest scales, they're an abomination to God. Proverbs 15, verse 8, we read, "The sacrifice of the wicked is an abomination to Yahweh, but the prayer of the upright is his delight." Look at that again. The sacrifice of the wicked is an abomination to Yahweh, but the prayer of the upright is his delight. We're told in God's word that our prayers are like offerings to Yahweh, to God. They are sacrifices, spiritual sacrifices, being offered up unto him. So, do you note what's being stated there in Proverbs 15, verse 8? The sacrifice of the wicked is an abomination. God had stated in Proverbs 6, "These 6 things, yes, 7 are an abomination to him: a proud look, a lying tongue, hands that shed innocent blood, a heart that devises wicked plans, feet that are swift in running toward evil, a false witness who speaks lies, and one who sows discord among his brethren." If I regard iniquity in my heart, the word tells us, it's an abomination to God. I am walking the paths of the wicked. If I regard those things in my heart and I am unwilling to confess them, if I don't see them as sin and confess them to God, then I am that wicked one. And then even my prayer is an abomination to God. He won't regard it. The prayer of the upright is his delight. Yahweh doesn't want us to be hypocritical, but genuine in our relationship with him. Jesus gave a parable, it's recorded in Luke 18, verses 9 to 14, where he compared 2 individuals as they were praying. Listen to this parable and see what Jesus then states regarding these 2 individuals. Luke 18, beginning verse 9. "Also Jesus spoke this parable to some who trusted in themselves that they were righteous and despised others. 2 men went up to the temple to pray, one a Pharisee and the other a tax collector. The Pharisee stood and prayed thus within himself, 'God, I thank you that I am not like other men, extortioners, unjust, adulterers, or even as this tax collector. I fast twice a week. I give tithes of all that I possess. And the tax collector, standing afar off, would not so much as raise his eyes to heaven, but he beat his breast, saying, God, be merciful to me, a sinner. I tell you, this man went down to his house justified rather than the other. For everyone who exalts himself will be humbled, and he who humbles himself will be exalted. Which of these two men do you reflect? As you go before God today, be as the tax collector. Recognize the fact that when we sin, when we disobey God's commandments, it is an abomination before him. And then, as we saw in 1 John 1, verse 8 through 10 yesterday, verse 9 specifically, that if we confess our sin, then he is faithful and just to forgive us our sin and cleanse us from all unrighteousness. God knows you're a sinner. He loves you. He sent Jesus to die for you. It doesn't take him by surprise. We must humble ourselves and confess that before the Lord. Take some time today. If you haven't humbled yourself before God yet, please do. If it's a matter of going the next step and humbling yourself even further, see, that's a process. It does. I get that in my own life. I think I've made it, and God reveals even more sin in my life. To go before him humbly, confessing that sin, rejoicing in his forgiveness. Take time to pray. Have a blessed day.